சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
உற்றிடுவோம் ஓர் உண்மை நிதி தன்னை உணர்வதுதானே வாழ்வின் கதி.
உற்றிடுவோம் ஓர் உண்மை நிதி தன்னை உணர்வது தானே வாழ்வின் கதி. சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம். எத்தனை பிறவி எத்தனை உடல்கள் தத்தளித்தோம் சத்பாவம் இன்றி.
அத்தனையும் கற்பூரமாய் எரிய ஆன்ம பொருள்தான் சௌக்கியமாய் மிளிர.
அத்தனையும் கற்பூரமாய் எரிய ஆன்ம பொருள்தான் சௌக்கியமாய் மிளிர. சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம். உணர்ந்தவரவரில் உள்ளொளிதான் அறுத்திடும் அகந்தை விலங்கைத்தான்.
ஏற்றிடு ஒளி சமுதாயத்திலே பணியாற்றிடு ஆன்ம உணர்வினிலே.
ஏற்றிடு ஒளி சமுதாயத்திலே பணி ஆற்றிடு ஆன்ம உணர்வினிலே. சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
உள்ளொளி பெருகும் உன்னத வாழ்வாய் எள்ளளவும் இல்லை சோகம் ஓய்வாய்.
உள்ளொளி பெருகும் உன்னத வாழ்வாய் எள்ளளவும் இல்லை சோகம் ஓய்வாய்.
வள்ளலென வாரி வழங்கும் வானாய் கள்ளமில்லா சிந்தை அதுவே தானாய்.
வள்ளலென வாரி வழங்கும் வானாய் கள்ளமிலா சிந்தை அதுவே தானாய். சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம். சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
Namaste, ma. Blessings. Purnima would join us.
Yes, Guruji. Just few minutes ago, I spoke to Vadina. I think she has some problem getting on. Guruji. Yeah.
Getting this line, huh?
Yes. Yeah. No. Maybe some internet problem or something.
Oh, okay. You have been doing it, no?
Yes, Guruji. Yeah.
You can you can share your feedback.
Yes, Guruji, like after I have actually started listening to you, attending your classes, and getting involved in this part. What I feel is like I want to do this more and more. My I think my understanding level is a greater level of understanding that this
Oh,
is we are not the body, we are not the mind, and to be our pure self is actually projecting us you know this way, and we are identifying every day everything what we are actually doing this way. So earlier I did not have this knowledge, I didn't even know what meditation was, what is jnana, and but now I understand what this part of transcending the mind is. But that's the challenge, Guruji. Every day, when I sit there, you were saying in the morning, in the evening, and even this evening when I sat there, you come into picture, whatever I have read, comes into picture. And it says, the moment that I actually read, the thought actually vanishes. But again, there is another thought, and I dwell upon myself, how do I relax this mind? I know it's a big journey, for the mind to dissolve in itself. But that's what but the love and the more that I want to do is what I actually feel now. I think Purnima is
yeah,
Sorry, Guruji. Sorry, I was a bit late. I was
doesn't
logging into
matter.
the Tamil version of it. Sorry.
Okay. It doesn't matter. She was giving her feedback, like how
Yes.
she has been, what she has been experiencing, how she said that it has got deepened her understanding. It has deepened herself into understand many things, many dimensions have opened up, it seems. Yeah, you can go ahead just explaining your feelings, ma. Yeah.
Yes, correct. This afternoon, I was just walking. When I was walking, also, I was looking at the tree and I was thinking, no, how can I actually be aware, every second? I know what you are saying is that you got to be aware of yourself, of the thoughts coming in. When I look at the tree, also, I feel yes, they are swaying in the wind, getting wet in the rain, but they don't actually move. They are in they are so still and strong. So I feel I compare myself to them and see how can I be like that, with this a flow of thoughts and everything. But I did what I majorly benefited from these classes, and the journey on this path is mainly the relationships, my sisters, my daughter, my husband, to be able to know that there's no difference between me and them, and we are all the same. Like in the pure self, in the true self, what he's saying is there's no difference between them. But that's only at the understanding level. When I when when you say one day if I'm able to feel that even for a moment, that not the understanding but the actual feel of that, it will be so good, so great.
It is there won't be any separate you. It will be a merger. See, we merge in our deep sleep, the state of deep sleep. It's like an ocean in which the river flows and loses its name and form to even the rainwater, even if it rains on the sea, you cannot segregate the rainwater from the water of the sea. You cannot segregate the fountain water, which also got merged. This is fountain water, this is the water of the river, This is the rainwater. You just can't segregate. But here we spring up from the deep sleep state into the waking state as separate beings. This we can name it as entitification. We carry innumerable entities within us, playing different roles, moment to moment, according to the feelings and according to the thought patterns and emotions and whatever in front of us that's happening at that moment that influences us, as well as from behind we react. Whatever that stems from within is only a reaction. See, there is no possibility of a thought germinating from us. So until the level of the five sensed animals, obviously we find no thought movements at all in them. They don't speak even in their own sounds with their own sounds. Each animal has different voice to express its feelings, but they don't speak. There is no language. But here, thoughts flits us. As soon as we wake up, we are not able to understand why is so much flurry of activity through thinking. For that only we have been advocating just be. The mastering just be is really uh, highly beneficial for the day-to-day living in relationships, especially in interpersonal relationships. You will never throw your emotions, outbursts. It doesn't mean you will become a serious person, always morose in outlook. See, this entification is happening. We are entifying who is an entity, one who is involved in an action. When a person is running, we call him a runner. When one gives speech, we call him a speaker. Not necessarily we add ER. When one cooks, we call him cook. But that job, that work is handled by that personality, that entity. Certainly, is he not an entity? He is an entity. This entification process jumps in. When a thought arises, immediately it's when you are involved in thinking, you have got to be called as thinker. This is entification. Really, the whole spirituality, no? The whole of spirituality. Who am I? Especially who am I? Who am I puts a seal, stamp in realizing the truth, in realizing about our real nature of the deep sleep state. When you look at this entity, this so-called speaker, runner, thinker, all the more is that do, yeah. Even thinking is doing by him. We are so ignorantly attached to this thinker, taking him to be the physical body, taking him to be the physical body. That's why the only ultimate inquiry is done on the entity who takes him to be the thinker, who takes his whatever the job he does. Say he is running, he is called as a runner, a jogger, whatever kind of a painter, a dancer, an artist of different art, one who studies, a student. Not only the jobs, everything is construed or taken to be a doer. Because we have a body, we are the body. That's how we are. We have practiced or we have mesmerized ourselves. We just can't segregate the thinker, that is the thought which is making us as a thinker, and the body which never thinks at all. We don't realize that fact. Isn't it a fact? Even to answer, you are an answerer. You have taken yourself to be a person who replies. So by and by, the vocal cord is used. The language is produced in the mind, and the mind uses the brain inside the body, that is in the skull. And the vocal cord knows whatever is thought about in the mind and brain. It immediately, without even a moment gap, it produces a speech. Thereby, again and again, we are endorsing ourselves to be a bodily oriented all doers. Crucially, that is the very focal point of WhoAmI inquiry. See, you can give thousands and thousands of benefits by undergoing this inquiry, by doing this inquiry, self-inquiry, WhoAmI inquiry. Who this entity is the focal point of this inquiry. This just be inquiry, especially. We call it as just be. Because with speech, you miss everything. With thinking, you lose track of the thinker. It doesn't mean you stop the thoughts. Who is stopping the thoughts? Again, he has taken a point out of this satsang. He has been advised as a method in this satsang to stop his thoughts, isn't it? Again, he is the body. The moment one point is heard and it is tried to be adhered or practiced as a method, you have completely endorsed yourself to be that bodily person who has understood that point. And you started trying it. That is why, as it is said, you should again come back to YouTube, wherever you can find this technique. Today's technique, we have named it as waiterless waiting. Waiter-less waiting. That is the essential nature of doing self-inquiry. Waiterless waiting is the way to do this. What are you waiting for within? And who is the waiter? Anything that pops up is because of identification of the thinker with the body. The thoughts are arising in one. So it means, who are you going to deploy within yourself as a watcher, as a waiter? So as the program, as you listen to this, you can just close your eyes. As you listen to this, you can close your eyes. Not even identifying with your closing of the eyes. You don't take him to be a person who is closing the eyes to do something, to watch the waiterless waiting. Though it will look like a lullaby, this satsang, but it's a fact. It won't lead you to mesmerizing effect. Call it as laya. Shruti Mata Layam Pita for a song. Shruti means sound. Layam means silence. Between two sounds, there will be one silence. Otherwise, it won't be comprehensive. Ragas will not originate at all. Shruti Mata, Layam Pita. Layam is Shiva. Shruti is Parvati. These are all the subtle powers that do magic in our mind, through our mind, and it always keep us fully lost in them. So what are we going to do now? What are you going to do now is, we'll go to the technique that's given in the video. 8th July Friday, self-enquiry technique 10. This was the 7th one. Truly, which as our life makes our day-to-day living, and what is that life? Which is making an entity living in us as our life, and what is that life? It's nothing but the truth alone. See, without a screen, white screen, the pictures, the cinema, or that which is projected cannot get displayed. This was our 7th technique.
சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
உற்றிடுவோம் ஓர் உண்மை
This was our 8th. Our deep sleep state is nothing other than absolute unconditional pure love. Just being within us for half an hour twice a day, in the morning and before bedtime, takes one to that source called love, and it gives immense strength to the egoistic I feeling to face the turbulence of the daily course and to attain all prosperities in material life also. See, there are no two lives which is led by an individual. There are no two lives. One is called as material life. There are thoughts which can be segregated as material thoughts, and there are spiritual thoughts. There are no such things at all. Everything is only spiritual. There is no materiality at all. Because right from a blade of grass to the sixth sensed human being, everyone goes into sleep, deep sleep. From there alone, that pure consciousness alone, this cosmos comes into being. The alive cosmos, which innumerable variety of phenomenal things, as well as beings, sentient beings, that comes into play. So there is nothing called as, because everything stems from as if a non-entity state, non-existent state of the deep state, as if, but it has not been investigated, it has not been inquired. Otherwise, one will never get settled in this life at all. One might, without inquiry, will bound to take thousands and thousands of lives. See, whole of the waking state, we are thinking so many thoughts as various entities with various emotions. One is answering the other, one is compromising the other, one is negating the other, one is arguing with the other. So many things are happening within our own one mind. If you call it one single person has one single body, is it one mind, or because of many entities, it is a conglomerate of complete, the mind of cosmos comes into action here. You have only one cell phone, but the possibility of getting calls from all over the world, isn't it possible or not? It's very much possible. That's why when a cell gets conceived as a being, be it any being, it is happening because of past influence, past registrations. So that is why what we say is, there is no two kinds of living. One is going on, one is undertaking. There is only one life. It's our preference, choice to brand it as spiritual living, because spirit means which has no form, which never gets isolated. The ocean contains the waves too, the bubbles too, isn't it? The same way, Here everything is only one invisible, intangible, absolute, unleaving, unarising, limitless, formless, deep sleep spirit. Here, your waking state life is getting set right. In what manner? Because you start feeling, one starts feeling by doing again and again, sitting in just be, in the sitting mode as well as in the doing mode of day-to-day activities. During that time too, if one has a gaze within oneself, it gives tremendous space, Akasha, between one group of thoughts to another group of thoughts, or even it goes to such a minuscule level that between one thought and other thought, one thought has come up, it was, it just passed by, another thought here has not yet arisen. You are let free. There is no identification process also is taking place because of clarity is being given through satsang. Because the satsangs remind one always about that he is not at all essentially a thinker at all. He is not at all a thinker. His nature is just like deep sleep state. He has not realized the truth about it, and he has not practiced or known or got the clarity of all the inner instruments, about the inner instruments, how they work, why they work, for whom they work, what happens to them during deep sleep, what happens to it when one falls in coma, what happens to it in a child, what happens to it when one person is dead. This knowledge about the cessation of thoughts, feelings, and during those moments, who remains as one is the clarity, real clarity. Is the real clarity one gets. And that is not one is getting just only by listening to satsang. One has to turn within, dwell within, live within oneself, and carry out all the activities. Doing 2 meditations at least in a day, and in the remaining hours are all with all work, including jogging. One can just be behind the entity, not even thoughts. We are in a very rapid manner, in a very, very swift manner, we are made into a being and we get emotional. We become emotional. We jump into talking so many things. Thereby, we clutter ourselves as well as others' moods. All happens because of talk, uncontrollable talks, isn't it?
தன்னை உணர்வதுதானே வாழ்வின் கதி.
உற்றிடுவோமோர் உண்மை நிதி தன்னை உணர்வது தானே வாழ்வின் கதி.
We saw in our last session, 9th session, self-enquiry technique, this one. When a thoughtful state is just looked at barely, the thinker process of thinking, thoughts vanish, and in that place, silence itself as pure love fills one. Love is noble silence. Love is bliss divine. Love is sharpness of intellect. All excellences of our waking state. That's why when a tree is getting deep rooted under the ground, under the soil, as its roots go deeper and deeper, it grows taller, wider. What it means by taller and wider? What happens to a tree when it becomes taller and wider? Like the banyan tree. So wider. Even a Sainya, they call it as 1,000 people army of 1,000 people. They can take their horses, they can rest for a while during a hot summer day. It gives such a shade. very vast, big shade under which 1,000 army personnel can take rest. What is it shows? When you are deep rooted within yourself, between thoughts, not in entities, not getting caught in entities at all. The knack is not to get, not to become an entity of doing something. Even thinking is doing anything without thinking about it. Even you can do it. You can do that particular action. You can perform. You can do it, but not thinking about it, because directly doing it will bring out love from you. You can see Vivan and the child also. You can see our children. They burst forth with actions uncontrollably. It's pure love. Their life is love. But here, when you train yourself not to become an entity by doing something or thinking, planning about something, what happens is you are also soaked in that love. One is soaked in that love. Whatever one does becomes a beautiful, beautiful relationship. It is the ground of beautiful relationship. That's how a tree is rooted under the soil, having firm hold, grip. It's the mother. The soil is its mother. It sucks, grasps all the essence of 5 elements through the soil, and immediately it is to the topmost branch, topmost leaf of topmost fruit. It is immediately transmitted. You should root yourself within so solidly, even while without becoming an entity, a personality. It's a beautiful way of living, not segregating as this is my material life, I have to plan like this. Doesn't mean you don't have to plan. What we say is first root yourself here. Then automatically there will be lot of, see, your 24 hours then becomes, you know what, it becomes like 120 hours. It is equal to 120 hours of life. When you consciously taste your food or a sweet or a mango, you don't know, you will not be aware how much time you have taken. If you are so involved with your friend or with your relations or lover, whoever, if you are you are immersed in that talk, you have lost yourself in that talk. At the end of the talk, you will be surprised. No, oh, it has taken 2 hours. We've been talking for 2 hours. Love has no bounds in whatever way it is displayed. But identification as a doer, as a person, the personality brings in all bondage, which is not true. All your plans will be drawn much, much before even a single thought arises from you. Overall sketch would have been drawn. How to proceed about this function or how to proceed about this interview. It is an image on its own will. You don't have to be effortful. You don't have to try and start jotting it down. Such is the nature of getting deep rooted within us without becoming an entity. Okay, now we'll go to the next, this week's.
சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச்
சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம்
Yeah. One of you read this today's technique. It is called as waiterless waiting. Yeah.
Waiterless waiting while you are in Just Be 24/7. Never be a waiter who waits to stop thoughts or feelings that arise within. That's a false game. Always be behind the truth about the waiter. Immense bliss, the inner scientific eye of transcendence has blossomed in you. From now on, you will be showered with all material and spiritual prosperities, only miracles.
Yeah. Why have I used it as miracles? Because it's descending from the above, not from you. You call it as no Australian make or Indian make, where it is made in India, made in Australia, like that. It should never be made by anyone. See, it's called as made in Australia, made in Japan, or made in India, made in USA. Like that. Thoughts are very earthly. Thoughts arise because of ego's identification. We are not egos. Ego is like a bubble in the ocean. It never lets the bubble to realize the ocean. Bubble veils the ocean. Thoughts make one to forget his or her real nature. For anything and everything, human being knows only to think. And thinking is doing. And doer is the body. Thinker is also the body. Even thinking is like walking, talking, or writing, doing some sort of a job. Thinking. Because most of the people know they get gratified or feel complete the moment they thought about something. They would not have executed at all. I will finish that. I will do that. I will. Okay. So you said to me, no, okay, it's done. It will never be opened at all. Pseudo satisfaction, false satisfaction. Here, while you are in Just Be 24/7, never be a waiter. Who can be a waiter? The body alone can be a waiter. Because all these activities, waiting, standing, sitting, lying down, running, these are all physical activities. But inwardly, when I say wait, I use the word waiter, be a waiter, but how it is preceded by another word, waiterless, be a waiterless person. That means disidentify with your identification, body, personality. And see, you are immediately becoming expansive. Expansive awareness. Don't get confused. Waiterless waiting. While you are in Just Be 24/7, never be a waiter who waits to stop thoughts, because till date, the propaganda of all religions, the way they carry forward each and every religion, every practice is through meditation. And what is meditation? To control mind. Who is doing the meditation? The meditator is doing the meditation. How can one who is the meditator, how will he control himself? Isn't it?
But
It
even
cannot happen at all.
Guruji, even controlling here is also becomes a thought. So you're still acting on that too. So that is
Yeah,
also a doing thing.
yeah, doing thing in the sense, you had used the word controlling. No, controlling means an entity only will control. This is our mindset.
Yes.
If some action is followed by ER word, think is followed by ER, thinker, run is followed by runner, speech or speak is followed by speaker, you deem that to be your physical body. No?
Mm, mm.
Is it your thought? Is it a physical entity? No, it is the energy entity.
No.
which is which is conditioning your physical body by becoming an entity.
Yes.
It says, she told, one who has informed, if she was an informer or she was a speaker about that statement. She only spoke to me like that. But what she said was within you. But you mean it by identifying with her physical body. You are not able to strip the physical body and look at what was the message given to you. A
True.
thought as a thought, an energy as an energy pattern as an energy pattern, isn't it?
Mm.
So this confuses a lot. We call it as a false game. Until this moment, the practice of everyone in the world about spirituality is stop the thoughts, control the thoughts, control the mind, control the feelings. Who is the controller? To control, we are soliciting, we are expecting some person to do that, and that person is our own self. We are trying to train another thought as a controller to control this thought, the present thought. I will develop you as a controller of me. I will give you a designation as a controller, and you control me. All the remaining thoughts. There will be a leading thought which is called as the meditator, as the body. That meditator alone is identified with the body. And what is he doing? Oh, he's meditating. Oh, eyes closed. So this is what is meditation. Is it the body which is doing the meditation? Simply by closing the eyes, the meditation is done.
No,
By
that
closing the physical, by closing
just a
the physical
physical
eyes,
act
what? Yeah,
happening.
tell me.
There is no transcendence happening there.
There cannot be, because the foundation is missed. No,
Mm.
we have not segregated the physical body from the subtle mental energy body.
True.
Our thoughts are smoky, no, hazy. Nothing is concrete. It shakes the whole being, no, from one extreme to the other extreme.
That's true. That's true.
Out of that only the whole world of names and forms are built by individuals, no, on the shaky grounds.
Yes, Guruji.
So can we proceed a meditation like this?
No, it won't be fruitful. It won't serve the
No,
purpose.
any purpose. It will all the more aggravate thinking,
True.
because the meditator is tied to the body, and he is holding a still picture in front of him as his thought movements. He's not letting them to move this side or that side. That means inwardly he has become like he has tied himself not to think.
Mm.
By sitting as the log of wood like the body, eyes closed, he is putting all the effort for what? Not to make the next thought to come out.
True.
It will burst. He himself will undergo agony after a while. When only coming out of meditation, he will be enjoying some breath of fresh air, isn't it? This just be on the grounds of WhoAmI. What it does, as you setting yourself in sitting sessions as well as in activity sessions. That's why I meant by 24/7. Activity sessions too. You can immediately enter that position, a waiterless, a walkerless walk, a thinkerless state.
Guruji, sorry to ask you, but can you illustrate an example with weightless waiting in like an example in like an active state? not
Active
during
state.
meditating state. Yeah, like when during daily activities.
Yeah.
How can that be achieved? The weightless
Yeah.
waiting.
You have your scheduled general day-to-day activities, no?
True,
Schedule
Guruji.
generally.
Yeah.
This time you will be making your breakfast. That's the overall schedule of one's life. Okay.
Yeah.
But within you, you will not only do that, but within you, you can always be decluttered.
Mm.
How to be that? So, the main thing is always this identification of Purnima with her physical body carrying out daily course. That brings in even thinking as doing.
Right.
Without you properly schedule thinking in the first place, then you cannot enter kitchen, you cannot do anything at all. Many people know, they'll say, what's the program of action today? What's your program? What's your program? Are we programmed? So it has become so mechanical.
True.
So here your general intention is to make the breakfast. That's all. So each and every step as you enter the kitchen, as you take out the vessel, as you heat milk or whatever activity you do, you can simply have the doer handling the vessel or lighting the gas, doing the work so involved within, not to create an entity who is eating the milk,
Okay.
not to create an entity who is washing the vessel, washing the clothes. You break to the finest detail and stay with it. Entities won't be created at all.
Okay.
This is a weightless weight of the divine to descend. For what are you waiting now? The expansive awareness,
Right.
the downpour of grace, the downpour of all excellences, faculties, skills to the utmost. All the five elements, right from space to the earth, everything shines to there, to its full glow, except the eye feeling or in a human being, which has wrongly taken itself to be Purnima, making one particular tiffin for that breakfast. It is such a burdensome life, becoming a doer, and all the more if it is done for someone else. For us to take food properly is necessity. Okay.
Mm.
The moment you take others as someone other from you, immediately as if you are helping them, you are going out of the way, lot of thoughts, and if they are in a demanding level, then you get hurt, you get perturbed.
True.
All conclusions, opinions, everything stems from the particular identification that has happened in doing a particular job, and because of so many thoughts. All the thoughts are doers. All the doers bring in frustration to that being.
Mm.
So to stop it, it's not even stopping. You go empty. The same thing without utilizing your thoughts, without making use of your thinking. Just get on with it immediately. Even not even as a thinker about it, planner
Right.
about it.
Right.
Keep moving. Next moment, without entity. It will be a beautiful love will be dancing there. Love will be expressing itself as making the breakfast.
Right.
There will be burst of energy, release of energy. When an entity is not created within us by our thoughts, there will be flooding of good energy,
Correct.
beautiful energy, love energy. This is the knack of it now. Okay.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, while you are in just be 24/7, never be a waiter who waits to stop thoughts or feelings that arise within. That's a false game. Always be behind the truth about the waiter. You should immediately jump in when you commit to yourself. What else? I only have to do here. That's all finished. You have branded yourself.
Mm.
Who else can do? I only have to make. So there also the identification is I only, but I is construed to be your physical body. Can you not just wait for a while? Why not if you go late today, one day, to the office? Everything comes. The sun never says this. The trees never say this. Nothing in the cosmos says this. Why not? Why not? Or why? That's a false game. Always be behind the truth about the waiter, immense bliss. The inner scientific eye of transcendence has blossomed in you. If you taste this, you know you have got the knack of it. From now on, you will be showered with all material and spiritual prosperities, only miracles. Because inwardly, when you start realizing the taste of it, you have lost nothing. You have not lost anything at all. You need not even think. You didn't think at all. Having done so much of work for about 1 hour or 2 hours, you never used a thought. You never became an entity at all. That's how Vivan plays. He takes agadics every day. Tanvi does like that. Okay?
That's true, Guruji.
Yeah, you got the point, no?
Yes,
This will
Guruji.
deepen your understanding and inward journey also very powerful, both in the external world as well as you will concretely enter the realm of transcendent states. Abhin awareness. It's formless. Okay. Can you do for a while this
Sure,
same
Guruji.
technique?
Yes.
Waiterless waiting. Okay, for some while, for some moments. Okay. These are all the techniques which we saw are all you will have to take interest. You will have to put forth enormous interest. Interest. The whole of your waking state self, no? One is called Vaidevi, the other is called Purnima. You will have to involve yourself. Putting all the character roles, all thinkers, all doers, performers, everyone into that. Not becoming an entity and proving and taking it as a challenge and handing it over to the ego to challenge itself. Let me check whether I can do it or not. Not this kind of attitude. Okay. The child never does all these things. It immediately plays. If you bring a toy, it is there and then it's opened right in the shop, not knowing what time is it. They immediately start playing. The same way, the earnestness and the self total involvement will take you to leaps and bounds in material excellences as well. It's only a perks as a byproduct. Okay? Shall we meet next week?
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Practice all
Guruji.
the
Thank
best.
you so much for your time.
Thank you. We'll meet next week, Friday. Yeah.